Yeah, motherfucking physics, bitch. I don't know how I'm gonna follow up the people that went before me. They were all really good, like really, really good. But I'll give it an old crack anyways. And I promise I won't have too much physics, because too much physics is bad. And little physics is good. Good. So I just have a round of applause for the people who went before me. They're absolutely brilliant. So contrary to what Steve was saying, I'm from a farm and I consider myself somewhat intelligent, and I studied studying physics and I kept in it, and I'm in the second year of my PhD. And actually the most fun I have when I'm doing physics is outreach, you know. So like, you may see that I have an injury. I have to apologize for that. I told my professor that I was going, you know, doing a bit of stand-up about physics, and he was like, no way, you're not doing it, not a hope. And I was like, well, I am going to do it. And despite my excellent martial arts and taekwondo, I was unable to stop his left hook into my eyebrow that caused profuse bleeding. But, you know, I got over it, I'm here, and please don't tell him that I'm here. Okay, just don't. Yeah, it'll hurt me. But then, so what we're doing here is outreach. We're reaching out, literally reaching out and grabbing each person by force and trying to teach them something small about psychology or physics or whatever else. And what I'm an expert in is OCT. So OCT is, what is it again? Oh yeah, it's OCT is overcomplicated tripe. No, sorry, it's overpriced catrix. No, sorry, no, it's optical coherence tomography. Yeah, that sounds fancy enough, doesn't it? It sounds really fancy, like someone should be doing a PhD in that. And I'm in the second year of my PhD, and I've successfully turned on my computer. I've done an hour of research every morning, followed by 5 hours of Facebook, and the occasional selfie with, call over to Mary for a selfie now and again. And, lads do it, after the gym, gotta get a selfie in. It's very important. And with outreach through my PhD, I've been very lucky. I've got to travel around Europe last year because it was the International Year of Light. So my part of physics is called photonics. So photonics is a very fancy word. It sounds really cool as well, like OCT. But basically all it is what can we do with photons? So photonics is like electronics. What can we do with electrons? What can we do with photons? So what can we do with the little fundamental units of light? So you can see, the reason you can see me is because there's diffuse light falling on me and hitting off me and going back into your eyes. And in photonics, like, the breakthrough was lasers and shit. So lasers, point a laser at any and just fucking drill straight through you, you'd be all dead, it'd be great. But sometimes we want to use lasers for, like, nice stuff, like find out if someone has a disease and tell them really early so they can treat it, or else we want to treat like a tumor or something, so we want to shoot the lasers in, kill the tumor, bad tumor, dead tumor, you're gonna live forever, fuck you Steve Bennett, way. Okay, it might come back, sorry, not too well. But so, I don't get into the specifics of that with the little kids that we want to teach about death, apparently. I want to teach them about physics, and I get to share my passion for my subject, So it's not the most exciting thing to most people. So when I tell people I study physics, their faces usually, it's a mix of like fear, puzzlement, and just like generally scared by, how could you do that to yourself? Why would you study physics? Like, I hate physics. Physics is the worst thing in the world ever. Actually, physics is the best thing, and it's the thing that basically describes the entire universe that you're in. And the physics is the best thing for your ego. If you think your ego is getting too big, if you think you're the shit, just study a bit of physics and astronomy and you'll realize that you are so insignificant in comparison to the universe that the little differences that we have between each other make absolutely no difference to the grand scheme of things. And I think that's good for people, because there's too many people taking their selfies who think they're the best thing in the world ever, and that's not the truth. And so a lot of funny things happen to you when you're doing outreach. So you're mainly dealing with kids you're trying to get them interested. So the medium we use is we created photonics apps so that people could measure their heart rate, measure their heartbeat, and that way they could tell if their friends were lying, because as soon as they tell a lie, your heart rate goes up. And if you want instant feedback about how good something is or how good your explanation is, you talk to a child, because a child, as soon as they're not interested, look at their face, and just start to nod off to sleep, or else just start talking back and you say, I don't understand anything you're saying. Well, so any idea should be, if it's not able to be understood by a 6-year-old, there's no point in having it. So a couple of the humorous incidents that have happened to me during outreach, I've had one teenager I was explaining the heart rate app to, and his father neglected to tell me that at the mere mention of the word blood, he instantly faints. So, in the middle, I want you to picture this, in the middle of the Orlisnick Lane, first person I talked to that day at the open day, got my lovely app, put plenty of work in, Android app, getting us all ready to go. I'm like, yes, motivated, I'm going to get people interested in physics, photonics, yeah. And they're going to measure their heart rate. The first teenager that comes up to me instantly faints when I tell him how light interacts with blood in your microcirculation, and that we can measure, because of the spectral properties changing with the oxygenation of the blood, we can measure your heartbeat basically from that change from deoxy to oxy. And his father was there. Yeah, he faints. He faints every time. He faints every time he hears blood. All right, yeah. I don't have to see it. All he's just said it. He's not dead. He got banged worse than that in the head on tiles. He's all right, yeah. Fuck's sake, it reminds me of my fucking father as well. Fuck's sake, and I've also had so I got to go to Barcelona, I got to go to London, and I had a very interesting conversation with a Chinese scientific ambassador to Imperial College London, and she basically came up to my stand in the festival. I was showing her some posters and the apps, and I was explaining the physics of what was going on, showed her what was going on, but at the same time she was aggressively translating every word I said to her extended family, who she'd obviously brought over in a private jet, because there was fucking 20 of them. They were all engineers and none of them were interested in what was going on, so he was just like, I was like, do you like physics? I don't know. Okay, sorry. But I suppose all these episodes, they only occur because of what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people interested in physics. We're trying to break down the barriers that people have to science, to study, to research. And there's these stereotypes that go along, that you have to be a nerd, you have to be this and that. But you don't have to be anything. If you're passionate about something, you should pursue it. If you're passionate about psychology, passionate about physics, go for it and get interested. Do something. Don't stand back. If you don't like it, if it's hard, if it's challenging, don't give up. Just go for it. That's the message. And I'd just like to thank everyone for the opportunity to come. I'm not a stand-up comedian. I need a bit more work, and I don't think I'll ever be one, but I really enjoyed it and I enjoyed the night. Thanks very much.